Good morning, everybody. Hey, this is Paul Damon, Nicaragua Real Estate Team, and I'm right now here in San Juan. It's the weekend, and as some of you know, we come here during the weekend to work the San Juan market. So I'm going to kind of go over some of the things that happened last year and some of our perspectives as it is for 2021. So last year, I'm going to read. I hope you don't mind me looking down here, but otherwise I can't read all these numbers. So it's kind of hard to give you the specifics. So in closed units, so that's the amount of units sold. And I'm giving you an overview as to what is going on in Keller Williams and Nicaragua. So you get a feel what's going on in the country versus saying, this is what we did. It's always better to show the group to give you an indication what is going on. So in 2018, the company, which was recently opened, it opened in 2017, had 118 closings. And then in 2019, it did 230. And then in 2020, it did 288 closings. So as you can see, even though 2018 was not a very good year, 2019 started to show a positive movement, a good increase. And then, of course, the pandemic hit. And we can really see it also if we look at month to month, because our month to month is down by almost 40%. And the pandemic has hit a role in that, okay? And the reason is, as we all know, if you cannot travel to the country, that's one. So a lot of the foreign buyers, let's say from Canada, from Europe, and the US, the way they have bought in the past has been to be in country, look over the different opportunities, and then make a selection. To buy real estate, let's say virtually, is a phenomena that we're starting to see a little bit of, but it's not a phenomena that is very well known here in Nicaragua. Okay, so we are seeing a lot more virtual closings in such markets as in the US, Canada, and even Northern Western Europe. Let's say the Netherlands, Germany, France, Belgium. Okay, so volume-wise, our volume total in 2018 was 10 million. Then it went up to 24 million. In 2020, we went down a little bit, 21 million. So again, the pandemic had an impact, but a slight impact, but still an impact, okay, in sales. So it was almost $3 million less sales overall, okay? And you gotta also remember that the price per unit has come down. So the reason being, people are negotiating, sellers are asking less, buyers are negotiating harder, and therefore the price per unit in the overall has come down. Of course, some properties have stayed the same level, and in others it has come down 30, 40%. And in some, very little, because the owner says, I have such a unique property in such a unique location that I don't have to make a reduction in price as the market is asking me. And I agree, in those properties that are so unique, one of a kind, in such a unique location, do have a significant value, and therefore they're not willing to negotiate, okay? And some sellers say, you know what, we'll wait for a better day. And if you are able to wait, why not, right? So listings taken, that's the amount of listings that we have signed at the company. And so it went from 252 million in 2018, then it dropped significantly to 151 million, and now it is around 107 million. So you can see that overall we have dropped more than 50% from the high of 2018, and that can be, again, various factors. Price drop per unit, okay, that's one. sellers not wanting to sell in a down market. So that's the other one, okay? And price correction. In the past, it might have been more, I think I'm going to try this. And now everybody's putting the pencil to the paper, getting valuations, and you are seeing now a more refined number, what the value is of those properties on the market, okay? So the volume of those listings that are sold, so we take numbers differently. You could take many different ways of explaining your numbers, and so we're just talking and giving you a sense of what is going on, because sometimes we do transactions where we are not the listing agent, we're working with another agent. So you got to bear that in mind. So in 2018, $4 million. In 2019, $13 million. And 2020, $11.5 million. I'm now rounding up, I'm rounding down a little bit, so keep that in mind. It's not exact 13 million, it's really 13,232,000, okay? So that you know that I'm rounding up, rounding down, just to make it easier, okay? So leasing wise, we had in 2019, 467 leases. And then in 2020, we had 730. Again, what is going on in the lease market is, if I'm paying rent in a property, let's say $700, and the market has dropped, then I'm going to go to the owner and say, hey, I want to renegotiate. That's one. Number two, I might say, you know what, for $700, I might be able to get a better property at a better location for the same amount of money, but for more value. So we have seen a shift where people are saying, I'm going to downsize or I'm going to upsize. And we have seen both. And I can't tell you what percentage, if I'm almost going to say they're evenly split. People coming down because, hey, we have lost work during the pandemic. One of our family members is not working. So again, you got to keep that all in mind as you look at our market. You can't just say, oh, it's all over the place, it's all the same. Because in Managua, for example, as in Granada, we have pockets, right? So you look at Bologna, you look at Santo Domingo, you look at certain areas, let's say that is what we would call Embassy Row, for example. Those, you will see less inclination of those property owners to adjust price. And then in other locations, let's say if you go Carretera Masaya towards Managua to mile marker 15, 16, you will see more variation. So you can't just say, oh, it's all over the place. No, you got to look specifically, okay? And that is why Keller Williams is a very important player in this market, because we have so many agents out there. So if you're looking for somebody, you should come here at Keller Williams, because the knowledge is in the numbers, and we have the numbers. I mean, look here, I'm just showing you, there is a detailed month to month, year by year. And that's what you want. You don't want somebody who says, I got a few properties all over the place. You want to be able for them to do a market analysis, as we would call them in the States, a broker valuation, okay? And that broker analysis of price, or opinion of price, is BOP, excuse me, broker opinion of price. That is very important, okay? And you need data for that. Now, since we don't have an MLS, most of you know that, and since data is not shared between agencies, okay, God forbid that we all work together. I mean, that would be amazing if we did that, but we don't. So then you got to go to an agency like Keller Williams that has more than 100 agents, and they all share the data, because we have a platform that allows us to share all that data together. We can list on our own website, but we have to also list it on the company website. That is how Keller Williams controls the information and makes sure that that information is then shared with the agents and then to you, the customer. Okay, so just wanted to set the scenario. So, okay, so we did the lease units. leased volume is the next one. We did almost $1 million in 2019, and in 2020, there it comes, 637,000. And it's the same thing as I said in the listing price. It has come down. Why did it come down? No jobs. People have empty space. They're going to negotiate and get people in. People in the commercial sector are saying, hey, I got this big place open. It's better to have somebody in there than nobody, because that way, if it's empty, I got to provide security. I got to keep the lights on. I got to do this and that. And by having a tenant at least cover my fixed cost, I'm better off than having it empty. Okay? So the amount of contracts written, and again, you got to remember, lease and the sale are two different items, right? Sale and lease. So now I'm going to give you the total contracts written. We wrote 408 in 2018. In 2019, we almost wrote 1,000 contracts. And in 2020, almost 900 contracts, okay? So month over month, we're up at 61%, which is good. At least that is showing that we have an impact on the market, that we're getting things done, that we as real estate agents are helping either the seller, the buyer, or both. There's significant transaction between a Keller Williams buyer agent with the Keller Williams selling agent. Okay, so there's a lot of partnerships where we're working together with both sides of the equation doing transactions, okay? And that again is important because we have the data and we can then convey to a buyer, this is the price that you should or could go, and the seller is being protected by us giving them an analysis on the price. Where do they have to be? What could happen? Okay, so everybody is protected, okay? And volume-wise, we did in 2018 a little bit over 8 million. And then in 2019, 21.5 million. And in 2020, 20.5 million. And that is a month-to-month overall increase of 85%. But a year to date, it's down by 4%. So just to give you a recap, we did good. I mean, based on what's going on in our market, that's one. And I think the way the company works, from my personal viewpoint as a broker that has come from the U.S. and has been with this company almost a year, that we have some systems in place that are very, very unique, and it sets us apart. That is why, for example, in our group, Ghislaine, myself, and René Sandigo, that make up our team, we basically only take exclusive listings. And that there's a reason behind it. The reason behind it is not only the numbers, but also the knowledge that we provide and the connectivity to not only our Keller Williams Nicaragua team, but also the connectivity to Keller Williams Global, as well as the realtors that we are affiliated with in the US, Canada, and Europe, okay? So some of you have seen our business cards. We used to have all this lettering of, CCM, CIPS, you name it, right? And we took that off because a lot of people don't understand it. But what it shows is that, for example, Ghislaine and I have taken significant education and knowledge to allow us to set ourselves as a difference between the agents in San Juan del Sur or in Granada or even in Managua, okay? And it allows us to parse information, what is going on in the US market, and how to use that to work with agents in the US that we affiliate with. We have approximately 30 plus agents in the US and then in Canada that co-share our listings and work with us to market the product, our product from Nicaragua to the US and Canada. So let's go on and talk a little bit. What do we see this year? Well, we have seen some very unique things happening. One is how we're engaging with our prospective client. And what do I mean with that? Well, we're noticing that through our social media, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, etc., we're getting more engagement. We're also noticing that people want to engage quicker. I mean, they don't want to wait 10, 12, 14 hours for us to say, hey, I'm Paul, how can I help you? They want to be able to say, hey, Paul, I just sent you a message, can you respond? Because that is important, and it's very important for the seller. The seller wants to know that we're working the deal constantly, right? Which we don't mind. I mean, this is in our blood. We come here over the weekend, and I always tell Ghislaine, this is our weekend off in San Juan do Sur. So we always take a few hours in the evening or even in the morning where we say, let's go do something special for us. Otherwise, burnout, right? But we literally work every day. Thank God that the kids are still in college or working for themselves, so that when we have kiddies at home, we don't have to worry about it. No disrespect for everybody else. I mean, everybody does their own business, and we love our business, so we do it our way, and everybody else does it their way, okay? So far this year, we have seen a significant increase in our group, significant. Right now, we're sitting on 5 contracts that we're literally waiting to close February, March. And price-wise, we have seen one property, the difference on the value was only $3,000, and that was less than 2% of the overall value, which is amazing because it shows several things. One, we priced it right. Number 2, good negotiation on both parties. And number 3, the buyer saw the value of the property, comparatively speaking, of the other properties in the market, okay? So we believe that the pandemic has hurt us, definitely has hurt our team significantly. But we are seeing now there are some other avenues that we can help our prospective buyer. For example, one of the things that we're doing is on a recent contract that we wrote, the gentleman was not here countryside, and the gentleman basically asked several questions. Number 1, send me the video of the property, so we gave him that link. Number 2, I liked it, but can you go to the property at night and during the day so I can see what's going on, so I can get a sense of feeling of that property? So we did it, and then of course, thank God for these little things, right? Could you imagine this is 1980 that we didn't have phones? Oh yeah, we had those big boxes, but now it's so much more fluid and easier with WhatsApp, Google, with all this technology, you can really help the client decide, even though they're outside of country, and then you got to make sure that they're comfortable on the deal. So, to us, when we do these transactions virtually, I'm always a little bit hesitant because I want to make darn sure that that buyer knows exactly what they're getting into. Even if that buyer comes through another agent, it is still important that we provide as much information, that we're truly transparent, as Ghislaine would like to say, in this transaction, okay? It is important that both parties know exactly what they're getting into, okay? So this pandemic has hurt us, but we're seeing a lot more asks, significantly. I would say on a, probably per week, we get at least 4 to 5 asks. Asks being, hey Paul, we saw your video, we saw your comment on Facebook in one of the expat groups, or we saw your reply to a post that we did, and we would like to know a little bit more. So it is important on our viewpoint to provide as much information, to be clear what's going on, and that everybody is comfortable in this transaction, okay? I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a little bit long. It was a lot of numbers. If you have any question, feel free to connect. And as always, we will respond right away. And yeah, I'm going to say it. Will I? Yeah, I'm going to say it. Subscribe, okay? And hit the notification bell right next to it, and you will see other videos, okay? Have an awesome day. Be safe out there, and let's hope that this pandemic goes down a little bit and that we can start traveling. Ghislaine and I haven't been able to travel, and which is a bummer. We love to travel, get to know different things to help us reposition or position Nicaragua for what it is. It's an amazing country. We love it. We've been here now almost 6 years. And, you know, the reason we came, I'm going to give you the last little bit. One, social, cultural. I mean, what a great place to live. I mean, we have met so many unique people. We have been very blessed, as they say, with the type of workers we have, the community we have got to learn. And I'm not going to say everybody's a friend. I mean, you know, friendship is, it has a different definition. But we have met a lot of people, and we're developing friendships, and which is kind of hard when you work every day, right? But we enjoy it. Ghislaine, as you know, loves her finding her green thumb. Not this one on money, but the green thumb of growing things, and she loves it. And of course, our 7 dogs, I mean, our extended family. And yeah, all I can say, we love it here. And yes, there's some bennies, right? As you probably know, our cost of living is lower than most places. It's easier to get a residency here at a lower price point. For foreign investment, it's only $35,000. If you look at Costa Rica, it's $250,000. Other countries are even higher. So if you're looking for a low cost entry with a extremely good quality of life, and it has the same feel as Costa Rica in the sense volcanoes, beaches, food, etc. You know, we beat them easily. We beat them. I've been to Costa Rica several times, so, and I'm not going to knock them down. There are people that love Tamarindo, Guanacaste, all those areas. Go for it. I love it here. That's the beauty of it, right? When we travel, we can find those markets that we want, okay? Y'all take care. Have an awesome day. Take care.